The smoke from the grill curled into the warm evening air, carrying the smell of charred meat and sweet corn. The backyard was buzzing with the familiar sound of clinking glasses, fake laughs, and that peculiar kind of forced small talk only family reunions could produce. I stood there in the corner, holding a paper plate with barely touched food. The laughter felt louder than usual. Or maybe it just was, because most of it was aimed at me. "You're still doing that little online job thing, huh?" My cousin Jared shouted across the lawn. "Man, when are you gonna get a real job?" The group of cousins around him burst into laughter, and I felt the heat rise in my face. I forced a smile. I always did. That was my job in the family, the quiet one, the dreamer, the one who never quite lived up to expectations. I glanced over to my parents, sitting near the deck. They heard it. I know they did. My dad raised an eyebrow, then looked away. My mom didn't even react. "No offense," Jared added with a smirk, "but you're like almost 30, right? Living at home, still figuring stuff out." He gasped. "Maybe you're just waiting to go viral or something." More laughter. I looked down at my plate. The potato salad looked as cold and tasteless as I felt. "You're just jealous," said my little niece, trying to defend me. "Sweet girl." But even she was hushed by her mother, my sister Claire, who rolled her eyes and muttered, "Let them be. Everyone needs to learn to take a joke." But it wasn't just jokes. It was the way they whispered about me when I passed by, the way someone changed the music to that old cartoon song I used to dance to as a kid, mocking me. The way my achievements were ignored and my failures exaggerated. Every time I opened my mouth, someone cut me off or laughed over me. I'd told them months ago that I was working on a freelance tech project, a startup, something I'd built from scratch. But no one asked about it tonight. They just asked if I was still unemployed. It was like every word, every look, was designed to remind me that I didn't belong, not really. Dinner passed in a blur. I tried to disappear into the background, but in a family like mine, silence is seen as weakness, an invitation to strike. My Aunt Lisa loudly asked if I was still seeing that girl who dressed like a boy. Everyone chuckled. I wasn't. We'd broken up months ago, but no one had asked about that either. I excused myself quietly after dessert, told them I had a migraine. No one stopped me, no one noticed, no one cared. Back in my room, I stared at my laptop screen. It was 11:03 p.m. I opened the folder on my desktop. Escape Plan Final Version. I hadn't just built a project. I'd built an entire life. Quietly, alone, far from the noise. I had savings, remote contracts, digital assets, a rented flat 3 states away under a different name. I'd been preparing for this for months, but tonight, that BBQ, it was the final straw. I packed a small duffel bag. Clothes, laptop, passport, hard drive, the essentials, left my phone behind, left a note on the bed. "Don't worry, I'm safe, I just needed to disappear. Maybe now you'll notice I was even here." I didn't cry, not yet, but as I walked down the street under the street lamps, free for the first time in my life from their laughter, their labels, their pity, I felt something rise inside me. Not anger, not yet, just silence and a plan. The next morning, my mother knocked on my bedroom door twice. "Breakfast," she said through the wood. "Come on, don't sleep all day." When there was no answer, she opened it. The room was clean, too clean. The bed was made, but untouched. A single folded note sat on the pillow, my handwriting neat and calm. She stared at it, read it, her breath caught. "Don't worry, I'm safe. I just needed to disappear. Maybe now you'll notice I was even here." She didn't scream. She didn't faint, but she stood there unmoving for a long, long time. By noon, the calls started. First my sister Claire, then Aunt Lisa, Jared, even. One by one, they trickled into the house, confusion giving way to concern, concern giving way to something colder, guilt. "What do you mean they're gone?" Claire demanded. "They're probably just being dramatic. You know how they are." But I wasn't in my room. Wasn't in the neighborhood, wasn't online, wasn't answering, not a trace. By the second day, my father finally called the police. Not technically a missing person yet. The officer said, adult, left voluntarily, but will keep an eye out. My name was added to a small database of the vanished. By the 4th day, news had spread. Family group chats, once full of emojis and memes, were now long threads of questions. theories, and slowly unraveling nerves. She left a note. My mother whispered to herself, "Did we push too hard?" But no one said it out loud, what they did. No one mentioned the BBQ, not directly, but it hung in the air like the smoke from that night, thick and choking. Jared, usually the loudest in the room, had gone quiet. My father paced the house more than usual. Even Claire, always so sharp with her words, left a voicemail one night, her voice shaking. "Hey, it's me. Just I don't know. If you hear this, please call. I didn't mean to, well, maybe I did. But I didn't think it would matter this much. You always seemed so strong, I guess. We miss you. I do." She paused. "Then I miss you," click. They began searching my things, as if the answers to my silence could be found in my drawers. My books, the worn hoodie I always wore. They didn't know about the second bank account, the hidden email address, the prepaid card. They never imagined I was capable of planning something so complete, so clean. That was the beauty of being underestimated, of being the family joke. Somewhere far away, not saying where, I watched them unravel from the safety of a cafe's corner booth. I had my laptop open, a coffee by my side, and a soft smile playing on my lips. They were just now learning how quiet the world could become when the person they never listened to stopped trying to be heard. Jared posted on social media, "If anyone's seen my cousin, please contact me. She means a lot to us. #missing person #come home." He used a photo from 3 years ago. The only one he had of me smiling. Comments poured in. "She looks so sweet. Hope she's okay. You guys were close, right?" He didn't reply to any of them. But this wasn't just about punishment. It wasn't about vanishing to scare them. It was about reclaiming myself. The silence I gave them was the mirror they'd never had the courage to look into. They'd laugh at anyone. But they couldn't laugh at a ghost, not one they made themselves. On the 8th day, something interesting happened. My father sat alone in the backyard, right where I'd stood at the BBQ. No music, no lights, just the soft flicker of a dying citronella candle. He whispered, "I should have said something. I heard it. I'd left a recording device behind in the house. A hidden mic. I didn't need it, but something in me had wanted to know the truth they only tell when they think no one is listening." On day 10, my mother visited the police station again. "She's not just missing," she told the officer. She left us. That night, I got another voicemail from her. "I don't know if you can hear me, but I hope you're safe. I know we weren't the easiest family. I guess I never told you how proud I was of how quietly strong you always were. You were always the best part of this family, and maybe we didn't deserve you." Click. I watched it all, not with revenge in my heart, but with a calm, cold understanding. They missed me now, but they missed who they thought I was, not who I had become, and they had no idea who was coming back. 14 days. That's how long I was gone. Not missing, not lost, not kidnapped, just absent. Long enough for them to feel my silence like a weight pressing against every dinner table conversation. Every birthday photo they looked back on and realized I had been in the background, always there, always trying, but this time I wasn't. And for once, my absence spoke louder than my presence ever did. I came back on a Tuesday afternoon. Not dramatically, no police escort, no grand announcement, just me. Quietly walking through the front gate, duffel bag in hand, sunglasses on, hoodie pulled up, the same house, but it looked different now. Or maybe I did. I walked inside. My mother dropped the mug in her hand. It shattered on the tile. "You're back," she whispered. I nodded. She reached out, but I took a step back. She understood. Something in her face crumpled. Words spread faster than I expected. That night, the entire family gathered in the living room again, but this time, no BBQ, no jokes, no music. Just silence. Guilt lined every face. Jared looked like he hadn't shaved in days. Claire sat with her hands clenched in her lap. My father stood at the edge of the room, his arms crossed but his eyes soft. For once, Aunt Lisa spoke first. "We're glad you're safe," she said, voice shaky. "We didn't know. You didn't want to know. I interrupted." My voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the room like a blade. They all fell silent again. I looked at them. "One by one, you laughed at me," I said, "at the BBQ. You mocked my work, my choices, my relationships, and you've done it for years, all of you." "I didn't mean it like that," Jared muttered. It was just a joke. I snapped. He looked down. Your jokes made me feel like I didn't matter. Like I was the family embarrassment, and you all let it happen. No one stopped it, not once. I turned to my parents. Even you stood there. You heard it all, and you said nothing. My father opened his mouth, but no words came. I left because I wanted to see what life felt like without needing your approval, without the weight of your expectations, and you know what I found. I smiled not bitterly, but with strength. Peace. For the first time in years, I felt peace. Jared stood up shaky. Look, I'm sorry, okay. I thought it was funny. I didn't realize it hurt you that much. You didn't think at all, I said. Because you never had to. You've always been praised for the bare minimum. Meanwhile, I've been working in silence, building a life you never bothered to ask about. I opened my bag and pulled out my laptop, set it on the coffee table, loaded the presentation I'd prepared. A startup dashboard appeared, contracts, revenue reports, testimonials, logos of companies I'd worked with. You thought I was unemployed. I own a software company. I've been making more money than most of you. I didn't need to brag. I just wanted support, Claire gasped. My dad stepped forward, squinting at the screen. My mother covered her mouth. You're the CEO? Claire asked, stunned. I nodded. Because while you were laughing, I was working. And while you were mocking my love life, I was learning self-respect. And while you were labeling me a failure, I was quietly becoming something better than you ever imagined. No one spoke, so I kept going. I didn't come back for your approval. I came back to return something. I reached into my bag and pulled out the family photo from last year, the one where I stood in the far corner, barely visible. I walked to the fireplace and placed it there, then I turned around. You can keep pretending everything's fine. You can keep smiling for photos, laughing at other people now, but you'll always remember the one who walked away, who disappeared. I looked Jared in the eye and came back better. I didn't stay the night, didn't need to. I had an apartment waiting, a company to run, a life finally mine. But as I stepped out into the cool evening air, I glanced back one last time. They weren't laughing anymore. They were staring at the door I'd just walked through like they'd seen a ghost, but I wasn't a ghost. I was the storm they never saw coming.